This is the Signal 51 Chronicles, the fire next door. Welcome to the Signal 51 Chronicles. This is episode 7 of the reboot. Ashley's over there counting. It is 7.
You are right.
I'm John Henry. This is Jake White, my compadre. He's a retired Fort Worth. He's a retired sergeant of the Fort Worth Police Department. Welcome back, Jake.
I'm here. I'm excited. Been digging into this one for...
You have been. You have devoted your entire being to this case.
I don't know about that, but a lot of effort.
We come to you from an undisclosed location in Fort Worth, Texas. And we are a proud member of the Sunset Lounge DFW platform. Did I get that right?
You did. I'm proud. So proud of y'all.
And they offer viewers and listeners an array of shows on featuring all sorts of topical content. Mm-hmm. It's a good way to spend your off time.
Yeah, if you like listening and watching podcasts, it's a good way to go.
There's a lot to tune into.
There is indeed. So that voice you hear on the other side is, other side of the table here is Ashley.
Hi, friends.
She's our producer extraordinaire. Jake, where would we be without Ashley? Answer's nowhere.
We would not be right here. Can you imagine? They can't see the setup behind the cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine the boondoggle that would be if we tried this?
No way. Be like
zero chance that's happening.
Be like asking us to take on a home project or something.
Yeah.
Home improvement
Not
project.
going to happen either.
And in fact, we'll call her too for that one because she can do that herself.
She got that down too.
Hey, I just took out the last wall in the house.
Huh? That's
The last wall? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the last wall I had to take down. I had 4
See?
I had to knock out.
sledgehammer.
But, kind of.
See what we're talking about there? Let's go to the police blotter. What you say?
Let's do this.
Dateline is Grapevine, Texas. You familiar with Grapevine,
Yeah,
Texas?
I'm familiar.
They make wine there apparently.
Yeah.
What's so funny?
Apparently. I mean, it's good. The wine there's good.
Mustang grapes. Learned that a long time ago. But this particular, that's how they make their wine, Ashley. This particular incident, was several years ago.
Okay.
But it's nonetheless one that is worthy of looking back on. So police arrested a 22-year-old man after a motorist reported being followed by a pickup truck equipped with red and blue emergency lights. The driver called 911 and remained on the line while continuing to drive, leading officers to intercept the vehicle along Texas 360. Police said the truck had a realistic police-style lighting system installed, but no official markings. Officers found a fake police identification card inside the truck that appeared to be crudely made. The suspect admitted installing the lights but declined to explain his intent. The man was arrested on suspicion of impersonating a public official and was booked into jail. An immigration hold was also
Oh, God, here we
was
go.
also placed.
Here we go.
Police credited the motorist for not stopping and for staying in contact with dispatch until officers arrived. Now, I believe that, and in fact, I'm looking at a story here that the police identification that this guy had ties closely to something near and dear to your heart, I know, because I've been there with you. That the police identification card was not nearly as realistic as the lights on the truck.
Okay.
It was made with a gift card from Chipotle.
Yes.
And the restaurant chain's logo was still visible on top of the card with the word, quote unquote, police written under it. Now, that is, that's going cheap on your.
Yeah, that's going pretty cheap. I'll give you that. I never encountered the imposter. I always
Never?
thought it'd be no. That'd have been kind of neat.
Yeah.
Never had the opportunity, though. I've seen plenty of videos online where they'll, coincidentally pull up behind the imposter who has a car pulled over. It's usually, like the ones I've seen, it's usually like some nerdy 24-year-old kid, hodgepodge of gear, and looks anything but official. So I've never had any personal experience with that.
Now we have a story. We're not going to relay it ever on a police officer who once pulled over a legitimate law enforcement officer pulled over somebody, and there was a barter at the window.
Yeah, let's not go there.
It's a funny one.
It is a funny one,
And in
but
fact, the old guy, the guy we're talking about, once upon a time, he'd have been happy to come on here and tell us about that. I don't know.
Yeah. Probably not going to go down that rabbit hole, though.
No. So, ladies and gentlemen, parents, advise your children never to impersonate a police officer. It's against the law.
Yeah, that's good advice.
All right. So let's go to the meat and potatoes of episode 7 of the Signal 51 Chronicles. And episode 1 is the locked door.
Mm-hmm.
And before we begin, I guess we need to, I don't know if we really need to do this. I mean, if you're listening to a true crime podcast, right,
You're prepared. You should be prepared
should
for
be
the worst.
prepared for the worst. But listener discretion is advised. This episode contains descriptions of violence and homicide. So we're going to Lake Bridgeport in Wise County, Texas. Population of under 1,000, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just over 300 people.
300 people. Mm-hmm. You ever been up there before?
Yeah.
Selling houses up there?
Yeah. In fact. And then the lake up there. I mean, I like.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Water skiing?
No. Good God, no.
Tubing?
Mm-mm. None of the above. I've just been to the lake. I've never participated in any water sport activity of sorts.
Yeah.
Not really my thing.
You know, I think it's Bridgeport. I think that the impetus for digging that was by a TCU alum. I can't remember his name. Anyway, I'll think
there is a story behind that. There is a story behind that. I don't remember the details of it, but yes, I think you're on something.
Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. But anyway, there's no local police department there.
Nope.
So that means they're under the jurisdiction of the Wise County Police Department.
Sheriff's Department.
Excuse me, Sheriff's Department. Yes, I meant that. That's what I meant. And I think we find that we'll discuss this later, but I think we find that fact comes into play here, that there is no local jurisdiction. Anyway, we'll get to that. But anyway, on the morning of July 5th, 2019, something happened near Lake Bridgeport, in Lake Bridgeport, that would fracture this community, and it remains unsolved. So let's set this
Maybe.
up.
Remains unsolved.
Correct.
There's going to be some twists and turns towards the end, I think. But setting it up, I think we need to first explain how we came across this.
Yeah, let's do that.
So,
How did we come across this?
my buddy Drew,
Drew. I know Drew.
you
don't
know
I?
Drew, a Wise County kid.
Oh, boy.
He's very much a Wise County kid, if you will.
Wise ass county kid.
Oh, to the umpteenth
Extreme?
degree, to the extreme. He's telling me, he said, hey, you need to look into this blog. There's a guy he's a defense attorney. His name's Barry Green.
I've heard of Barry Green.
Yeah, he had a swim through here at the DA's office. Very lively fellow,
Yeah.
at least. And I say that because on his blog, Liberally Lean, he's got some funny content on there. It's got I don't know that it has it's titled Liberally Lean. I don't know. Political spin, some of it, but it's really just pure entertainment.
Yeah.
Some of it makes me laugh.
Yeah, sure.
And so
That's why we're here on this earth.
that's why we're here. And so this case he was involved in, and it was one, even now, I'm almost left with more questions than answers because I don't understand how we got to the point that we're going to tell everybody about. And a lot of the content were things that he provided to the masses, if you will.
Through his blog.
Through his blog, through some of his social media accounts. This guy is screaming from the mountaintops. And that, not the mountaintops quite literally, but you'll see what he saw as this thing plays on. So to get this set up, so we're talking July 5th, 2019, early morning hours. So the morning after 4th of July festivities.
Yeah.
We are talking about a lake community. Mm-hmm. The parties were definitely kind of the center of town, if you will. Definitely the center of this story. It's got a little part to do with that. But at 4:20 in the morning, Wise County Dispatch gets a 911 call. A neighbor reports smelling smoke coming from a duplex at 620 North Main Street. He says the woman who lives there, Laura Whitener, is not answering her phone. The windows are hot to the touch. The curtains are drawn. There's no visible flames. The front door is deadbolted. So when they get there, they have to force entry. Now, to set it up just a little bit, we're talking about a row of 6 duplex buildings. Mm-hmm. This 911 caller was calling from 640 North Main.
Okay.
So the adjoining duplex to where Lauren Whitener lived.
So inside that living room, a couch is on fire. Mm-hmm. In the bedroom, they find Lauren Whitener lying on a burned mattress. She's nude, except for a white shirt pushed up over her chest. And when investigators turn her body over, they realize immediately that the fire had nothing to do with her death.
No. Well, the autopsy, we'll get into that.
So who was Lauren?
So Lauren was a 32-year-old Army veteran. Mm-hmm. She served overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq. She was also a surgical nurse at the Wise Health System Hospital. She was a single mother with an 8-year-old son. By all accounts, she was close with her neighbors along North Main Street, especially the couple living 2 doors down at 660 North Main Street. Rodney Eric Maxwell, he goes by Eric, and his common law wife, or what's described as his common law wife, Ashley Hill.
What is a common law relationship? You live with somebody for common law marriage. That is, you live with somebody for how long?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've heard so many conflicting things on this. If you receive mail there, I've heard that before. If you're receiving mail there for, I don't know, how much time. That's Milton Daniel, by the way. I was thinking about Lake Bridgeport.
Milton Daniel.
Milton
Okay.
Daniel, yeah.
So they, obviously they go in, they find Lauren's body on the charred mattress. They see that the love seat in the living room is also smoldering, charred.
Yeah.
They see the stab wounds to her body.
Uh-huh.
So
She had she had 18. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
18 stab wounds?
I think initially they saw 8 stab wounds, slice
Yeah.
wounds.
Observed 8 stab wounds. Yeah.
So what they did was the investigators fairly quickly secured a search warrant for her duplex. Now I'm going to read a long list of evidence.
Yeah, please do.
Now all of this is going to become relevant, but it is a long list, so it's important to pay attention what's on this list.
We got time.
So, in and around her duplex, investigators recover or find there's going to be some discrepancies on what they recover/seize versus what they actually see. But in her duplex, they find a blue lighter on the front porch,
Blue lighter.
a full beer can under the couch, a kitchen knife with an 8-inch blade in the sink, a kitchen knife with almost a 5-inch blade in the sink, 3 knives and 1 pair of scissors from a kitchen drawer, sleep aid cough medication on the nightstand in the bedroom, a purple lighter on the right nightstand in the primary bedroom, an empty water bottle on the left nightstand in the bedroom, an empty bottle on or near the right nightstand in the primary bedroom. There's some cigarettes in or on the left nightstand in the primary bedroom, a blue lady shirt on the bed in the primary bedroom, a pair of men's boxers, a cell phone located in the kitchen, a knife on the front porch, a knife on the grill in the backyard, multiple cigarette butts in an ashtray on the front porch, multiple cigarette butts on the ground near the porch area, lighter fluid from the backyard of 640 North Main Street.
Yeah.
So that's where the 911 callers were calling from. Again, the adjoining duplex. They had their own separate fenced backyards. A green lighter from the backyard fence line near 660 North Main Street, so the next duplex building over. 3 cigarette butts on the kitchen counter. A router, these are interesting, 3 smoke detectors that had been removed from the ceiling, and 3 batteries in the trash can from said smoke detectors. Not all, though. There's more. It was also reported that investigators confiscated the following near or also at 620 North Main Street: a bloody blue cell phone case. The medical examiner during the autopsy collected nail clippings, the victim's clothing. They also did a sexual activity kit to see if there was some kind of sexual assault involved. And then finally, hair from an outside trash can, possibly like a bathroom trash can, something like that. So again, that list of evidence becomes important. Kind of recapping, obviously they get the 911 call, they respond, the front door's locked, they go in. Lauren's body is deceased on her bedroom, on her bed in her bedroom. Mattress is charred, smoldering, burned, whatever you want to call it. A love seat in the living room, front living room. Same thing. House did not become engulfed in flames or anything of the sort. though.
Yeah. Now that autopsy, I'm guessing, was probably performed here. I bet Wise County doesn't have a coroner either.
Nope. They went to Dallas County.
Dallas County,
Yep,
okay.
Dallas County Medical Examiner.
All right. And we want to discuss what they
Yeah, we can do that.
So the Dallas County medical examiner, as you just mentioned, conducts this autopsy, and Lauren had 18 stab wounds. 16 of those were on her back. Others were to her neck and jaw. And the medical examiner in Dallas rules this death by sharp force injuries to the neck and trunk. The smoke inhalation
That was not.
was not a contributing factor, which means that the fire was set after she was already dead. And some early questions that come to mind when we think about this are: why deadbolt the door? Why set the couch on fire but not the bed?
I mean, the bed was.
Bed was on fire. Well, but we don't know if that was from her burning.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. I think I have some
right.
ideas on that.
And why, if this was sexual assault, does nothing at the scene immediately explain it? So, do you want to start with the neighbors now?
So, like any investigation, the investigators are going to interview as many witnesses as they possibly can. In this case, we know that there's 6 duplex buildings on the same street, all next door to each other.
So there's also, let's butt in here right quick. So the Wise County Sheriff's Office, who's conducting this investigation, correct? There is no quote-unquote homicide detective or detectives in the Wise County office, right? We're just talking about sheriff's deputies out there using whatever.
Well, I think they have their own detectives, but they're, kind of a catch-all, if you will.
All right, yeah, they're doing anything from robbery to somebody impersonating a sheriff's deputy to this.
To this.
All right, go on.
They call in some help. Obviously, the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, they came in.
Yeah, they came in, and that's gonna be a topic that we're gonna discuss. But like I said, they're going to interview as many witnesses as possible, right? To learn probably more about Lauren, to learn about, like, hey, how did this happen? Did anyone see anything? Did anyone hear anything? The list goes on. So, like I mentioned earlier, they collected a mountain of evidence at the crime scene, or reported a mountain of evidence at the crime scene. Some of the items that collected, we learned that the 3 smoke detectors were removed from the ceilings, and the batteries were removed from the smoke detectors. They swabbed those for DNA. These were not the only items, though, that were swabbed for biological evidence. Again, something that, as this plays out. So also this investigation, in talking to the neighbors, they specifically interviewed Eric Maxwell and his wife, Ashley, in the morning hours of July 5th. They're doing this now to kind of set the scene. These are interviews, in the front seat of a detective's car. These may be in a front yard. It's 2019, or they may be using their phone to record it. They may be using the old school recorders I'm sure that you're familiar with.
Yeah, sure.
Just collecting as much information that they can. So in these initial interviews, they ask Eric Maxwell, his wife Ashley Hill, to go to the sheriff's office later that day to get a more detailed description. Maxwell and Hill agreed. So that later on in the day, they go to the sheriff's office. They provide a more detailed statement. Eric Maxwell voluntarily provides his fingerprints and a DNA sample. He wasn't the only one, though. There were other neighbors who were asked and did the same thing. Okay? So we're going to go kind of in a chronological step here. So we know, again, just kind of recapping, this crime happens on the 5th. Investigators collect evidence. They interview neighbors. They're still actively working this. They clearly have not developed any kind of theory on what happened, who's involved, what was the root cause of this crime? What was the motive of this crime? So July 8th, investigators go back out to the crime scene. They locate a pair of black latex gloves approximately 200 to 250 yards away from Lauren's duplex. I don't know exactly where. That's one of the things that we ran into a lot in reading about this case. We know that on July 9th.
It's 250 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So decent ways away,
Yeah.
but still, how many pairs of black latex gloves do you find laying on any neighborhood street? Now, there could be easy explanations, right? It could have been the first responders who were there. I mean, who knows where those black latex gloves came from? Could have been the suspects, though.
Had they? I wonder if the sheriff's deputies had they combed that area before and not seen them, or was this a new
It's possible.
territory that they just said, "Hey, let's go check this out"? We don't know.
Well, we don't know for sure. It's possible that they did, but again, one of the other things we have to remember is it's Wise County, Texas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is still rural by nature,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's not a huge thriving area.
Rural is a hard word to say too, by the way.
Rural.
Yeah, you nailed it, but
You made me self-conscious that I messed it up. So, I think
yeah, it is rural.
their resources are going to be limited, right? They don't have the luxuries of the big city where you're calling people in.
Yeah.
You've got multitasking at its finest going on at this point.
I wonder how big that sheriff's office is.
I would think, I don't know, maybe 100 deputies or so, give or take, somewhere in that ballpark.
Is that big?
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe I'm way off. But you've got all these guys, all these investigators multitasking, right? You've got some that are focusing on the crime scene, i.e., quite literally inside her apartment, perhaps even just her building. You've got others that are interviewing all these witnesses, neighbors, etc. You may have some people kind of combing the area, but again, how many and how detailed can they possibly be? That's hard to say. So one of the other things, part of the documents that we examined, that we looked at, so on July 9th, investigators conduct a consent to search at an apartment belonging to a person that we know as Salim S. I have no clue who Salim S is. I have no clue where his apartment is. I just know that it was around the same time as this investigation is going on. Okay. So is Salim S a suspect?
Related to this,
Awesome. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay. So July 10th. This is where more of the story starts to come out a little bit. So they again interview a guy named Billy Ray Thompson and a lady named Vicky Bondavi. So Billy and Vicky lived in the duplexes to the north of Maxwell and Hill. So probably 680 North Main Street, maybe even the building one up from that.
All right.
Okay. So Billy, going back to the July 4th night, Billy had called Maxwell over to his duplex because he observed that Maxwell and his wife, Ashley Hill, were in some kind of argument. Again, it's 4th of July night. Probably like a block party style environment.
Yeah.
Right?
People
Everybody's
outside.
Out. It's I guarantee in Wise County they're setting off fireworks, all the stuff that you would do.
Yeah.
Things that we can't necessarily do here in
Outside the loop, and it's rural.
Yeah, exactly.
That's redundancy.
Yes. So Billy calls Maxwell over, sees this argument, and he asks what's going on. Maxwell tells...
Lots of alcohol involved, too, I'm sure.
I mean, it is the 4th of July.
And it's in Wise County.
There is some mention of alcohol. We're going to get to that. Maxwell tells Billy that he and Hill had gotten into a fight inside the residence. Maxwell grabbed Hill by the jaw, and Lauren Whitener was also there. She jumps in between.
Okay.
Separates.
Yeah.
Where their relationship, again, they're neighbors, they're clearly friends, okay?
Yeah.
But Maxwell tells Billy that he, Hill, and Whitener were involved in some kind of threesome.
Uh-oh.
I hear this new term. I think it was called a throuple. Is that correct?
Throuple.
Yes, it's
I've
a
heard this
throuple.
too.
I have never heard of this term up until talking about this story.
Yeah. I've always heard it more associated with like gay couples.
I feel like it's becoming more of like a thing for like bisexual men and women type stuff.
So, okay, so
This is
throuple.
going way off the rails here.
While all three of them are in a
And
relationship
none of them
together.
are actually like, I mean, I guess the one couple, the Hill Maxwell couple are common law. So that makes them legally together at some point, but there's no
Marriage.
between any of them, right? I mean, so it's just
I'm listening to this story as it happens, but I can tell you on the throuple side, it's three people who are all in a monogamous relationship together.
yeah. Okay, there you go.
There we go. I don't know. I just heard the term. I just thought it was a new way of describing a threesome. I don't know.
You're right before our eyes, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing a man evolve into
Yes. Indeed.
into modern society.
Yeah. Well,
We're all very proud of you.
Good
No,
luck
but I'd heard of it, but I'm not. I'm certainly.
good luck with that. So
Do you imagine how complicated that relationship would be between a throuple? Throuple? Did I get that right? Throuple?
It's a throuple.
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 couple with a TH.
Oh, throuple. A throuple. You imagine how complicated that would be? Could you imagine being in a throuple?
Me?
Yes.
Good God, look at me. No.
I mean, it's hard enough handling one wife, right? Or let's chauvinistic. It's hard enough handling one spouse. Could you imagine having to handle two?
There's zero chance.
I mean, just think about how difficult. It's difficult enough trying to figure out where we're going to go eat with one spouse.
Yeah. Just nothing gets done ever.
Nothing gets done ever.
Nothing gets accomplished. All right, we got to get back on topic.
Do we? Okay.
This is hilarious, by the way.
Get back on topic with this. We're talking about a murder here, all right?
And possibly involving a throuple.
A throuple. So during this conversation with Maxwell and the neighbor, Maxwell conveys that he believed that his wife wanted to be with Lauren instead of him.
See, here we go.
So now it's you know what it is.
Wait, so they were in a throuple with another man,
Yes.
but also this chick
No, there's just
supposedly
no,
in a
there's
relationship with the.
one throuple
Okay.
involving Maxwell, Hill, his common law wife, and their neighbor,
Lauren.
our victim,
Okay.
Lauren Whitener.
Got you.
Yeah.
For some
So it's
reason, I thought
going-
there was
it-
another
this
man
is-
involved.
Yeah, I mean, this took kind of an interesting turn. Now, they also though got some more context on this friendship, even the day before on July 3rd.
Well, and when you say, if I'm the law enforcement officer and we got like some sort of threesome throuple,
Yeah,
my ears perk up.
oh yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
But again, we're going, okay, so we go back to they're interviewing all of the witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So what they learn, you've got to get the facts prior to this crime, prior to the officers responding. So on July 3rd, they learned that Lauren spent time with Maxwell and Hill. They were close. They were friends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had barbecues together. Their kids played on a trampoline together.
Yeah. Lauren's got an 8-year-old, and these two got a kid.
They got a kid
They
or
got a
two,
kid.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
And on July 3rd, that day before, even though Lauren only lived a mere 50 feet or so away, she and a male friend stay at Maxwell and Hill's home overnight.
Good Lord. What do we call this, Ashley?
I don't know.
Who knows what this is called. So July 3rd, Whitener's at their house. July 4th, Whitener spends the day with Maxwell and Hill. Her friend, her male friend, he's reported to have left at around noon. So again, 4th of July partying. The group ate Chinese food, drinking beers, right? So it's a 4th of July get together, right?
Nothing says the 4th of July like
Chinese food, beer, and Wise County and fireworks.
Yeah.
That is 4th of July at its finest, okay? So they're starting to get some of the stories, understanding some of the relationship, okay? They know that Lauren was, reportedly very friendly with the neighbors 2 doors down.
Yeah.
So we talked about the July 8th, the black latex gloves being found.
Yeah.
July 9th, the consent to search at Salim S.'s apartment. July 10th is when they interview Billy and learn about a lot of this threesome stuff, if you will. So we're going to go to July 11th. Investigators ask Eric Maxwell to return to the sheriff's office for another interview. This time, Maxwell was met by Wise County Sheriff's Office investigators and a Texas Ranger. The interview took on a different tone.
All right.
This is not,
Tell us about this.
such a friendly, hey, buddy, let's just get the facts here. This turns into an interrogation.
Yeah. And those are always rough.
And this turns into, we talked about the polygraphs earlier.
Yeah.
Investigators tell Maxwell that they had brought in a polygrapher from the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C.
The U.S. Department of Justice.
The U.S. Department of Justice flew down to Wise County for a polygraph.
How common would that be?
I don't think it would be common at all.
Yeah, right? Because typically in your own lot, like let's say 4 of the Dallas police departments, they have their own.
You have your own, but then going back to Rick Holden, you have them drive out Rick Holden is in Dallas-Fort Worth, is the premier best of the best.
So they might contract with a guy like
They contract
with Rick Holden to come out and do this type of
The
stuff.
legit investigators know he is the best one. So they're not going to call in an unknown. Now, again, it is Wise County. Does their budget allow for this? I don't know.
So, well, I mean, they're going to have to pay the U.S. Department of Justice something, I presume, or no?
No, not necessarily.
All right. They call them out.
Yeah, so they tell Maxwell, hey, we've got this polygrapher here. They're interrogating him. Take a polygraph. And he says, okay, I'll do that. And he takes a polygraph.
Yeah.
So this is a 9.5 hour interrogation polygraph
9.5 hours.
exam. Throughout that entire time, Maxwell is continuing his claims of innocence. Mm-hmm. I didn't do anything. The investigators tell Maxwell that he fails his polygraph. I don't know if that's true or not. Very well could be. This would go too far off down rabbit holes.
So you're allowed to do that, huh? You can just say.
Yeah, you can.
You can just lie about.
Yeah, you can lie.
About somebody.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Good Lord.
Well, I mean, there is an investigative.
F. Lee Bailey was right. All right.
There's an investigative need for it in some cases, right? Again, going off into this whole polygraph thing, obviously we have people that would have a better opinion of it or have much more knowledge of it than what I have or any of us would have.
So anyway, they tell him he's failed this thing.
He fails the polygraph. He keeps saying,
Which may or may not be true. But anyway.
I did not kill my neighbor. I didn't kill Lauren. I mean, he is screaming it. They let him leave, right? He doesn't confess to it. Whether he failed the polygraph, didn't fail the polygraph, who knows? But they let him leave. Same day, the investigators also interview a female witness. They interview Maxwell's father and a person that I only know of as Ace. I don't know if that's his real name, nickname. I have no idea.
Baptismal name, Ace.
Now, this this interrogation polygraph on July 11th is not all that they were doing, though. Simultaneously, investigators had obtained a search warrant for Maxwell's house.
Okay.
So while they are there interviewing him, you have other investigators that are executing a search warrant at his home at 660 North Main Street. So during the search, investigators utilized Blue Star. It's a product name for Luminol.
What is Luminol?
We'll get it. We'll go. In short, it makes blood glow. Right. I don't want to get too far off into the science of it because I'm not, frankly, that versed in it. But it makes blood glow, whether it's visible to the naked eye or not. Okay. So they use the Blue Star to illuminate items that appeared to have blood on them.
And this is in Maxwell's house. Yep. Maxwell and their apartment.
Mm-hmm. And we'll put a link just so listeners can know what it is. So once they do that. Once they use the luminol, they're also going to use what we're going to call a hemistick, and that's what that is it's like a presumptive positive test, right? This is not in a lab environment. This is at the crime scene. Yeah. This is where the presumptive test is what I would call rather rudimentary. It gives the investigators an idea. Now, what I can speak to would be more in the drug world. We had these little, technology has changed, but we had these little things, we call them narco pouches. So if you come up to a white powdery substance that you think is cocaine, you put a very small sample in there. It had 3 ampules. You break these 3 ampules, shake it up, and it would turn blue.
If it was.
Blue if it was, yeah. And you would note, this is presumptive positive. I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist. This is not in a lab environment. It's just reacting with these reagents to say that it's presumptive.
So this hemistick is the same thing. They
Similar.
take similar, yeah. They take what they think might be blood particles, and they put it in this thing on the scene, and whatever the chemical reactions are, whatever else, it shows up yes or no.
So the presumptive blood test showed positive results for the presence of human blood on the items that were collected. We'll talk about that. Now, also on the front porch of Maxwell's residence, they noticed a red can of gasoline, your rather standard gas can, right?
Yeah, right.
In the pantry, investigators located a bottle of lighter fluid in which they said a presumptive test for human blood showed a positive result. In total, during this search warrant, investigators submitted 5 items to the crime lab. Okay, so three of them were swabs collected to the positive reaction, that hemistick. 1 piece of fabric from a love seat.
Okay.
And 1 half towel from a trash bag on Maxwell's front porch. So Maxwell's at the sheriff's office getting interrogated, taking a polygraph. Other detectives are at his house, and they ultimately walk out with what we know 5 things: the 3 samples, the love seat fabric, and the half towel.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Which if there's blood or whatever, other people live there. It could be their blood, it could be whatever.
So it seems like they're hot on the trail, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they've already done the consent to search. Consent to search is when somebody allows you to search their house, car, person, right?
Without a warrant.
Without a warrant. They do that on July 9th with this guy Salim S. It seemingly doesn't result in anything more. July 11th, they're there at Maxwell's, interviewing, searching. July 12th comes around.
Yeah.
Okay. So Maxwell leaves on July 11th. Free to go. No charges, no nothing. So July 12th, we're talking 1 week after the crime. Exactly 7 days.
Yeah.
A restoration crew cleans out the crime scene. We'll put a link to that video. So they're at Lauren's duplex pulling out those big, heavy trash bags, the contractor bags, just loading up a trailer. On the video, you're going to see the char on the wall from the smoke. It's got a couple cross outlines. Perhaps she had some crosses hanging on the wall. Well, she did. this crew cleans out the crime scene. Now, who says to do that?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I don't know, right? I mean,
But this seems like, I don't know how this, I do not know exactly how this case ends. I have an idea, but.
I wouldn't have thought anything was out of the ordinary. I think a week, in theory, would be enough time.
Because you would have, obviously the property owner wants, to get this thing past them.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, the guy that owns this apartment, this duplex, owns all 6 of them.
Yeah, right.
It is a investment / business for him.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Tragic, absolutely.
Life goes on.
But life
It just
goes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he needs to get the thing completely cleaned. And
So I think where we're going to end this one
yeah.
for today, for this episode, in addition to the crime scene being cleaned out, on or about the same day, it could have been the 13th, July 11th, 12th, 13th, we know that investigators applied to the court to install a tracker on an unknown vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. So now this could be somebody that they've already identified or somebody they want to know more about.
Could be Slim S. Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly. And where it leads me to believe probably not, though, on the same day, they also searched Eric Maxwell's Acura. So what I think probably happened was they either had a search warrant for that Acura, maybe it was a consent to search, I don't know which. But during the course of that search when they installed the tracker on his vehicle. Again, that's just a theory that I have, but I think there would be a lot of coincidence to
stands to reason. Right?
So now they want to know, where else is Maxwell going?
Yeah.
Right? The tracker's not giving you post data. It's only giving you present data. So where is this guy going?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to leave it at that for now. So again, I think the recap, we had the murder, the fire, the murder, the mountain of evidence that was recovered. We have a couple seemingly suspects identified. We know that Maxwell, part of my new term that I've learned, the Throuple, seems to be a suspect.
Yeah.
They brought him in. They've given him a polygraph. They've quote interrogated him.
Yeah.
So he seems to be a suspect. They released the crime scene. It's cleaned out. The crime scene's cleaned out by a civilian restoration crew, a crew that has nothing to do with the investigation.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to leave it there. And when we get to episode 8 next week, we're going to go down the other roads or avenues that this case goes.
Yeah, because there's certainly maybe what is key is stuff they don't collect. Possibly, I don't know.
There's a reason we're talking about this one. It goes down so many different trails that I would have never imagined in the year 2019. So, yeah, they're going to have to tune in and check this out.
All right, yeah, please do tune in, and we'll be back on episode 8 next week. Where we need to tell people exactly where else they can find us. Ashley, can you help with that?
Yeah, so they can find us on the Sunset Lounge DFW on Patreon and or YouTube. Y'all also collaborate with the Sunset Lounge on y'all's YouTube page, which is under Signal 51 Chronicles podcast. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you get your podcast on the Sunset Lounge DFW and or Signal 51 Chronicles.
All right. Yes. Check those out and make sure you share them so that the rest of the world can know what you know. And we will see you next week. That's good stuff, Jake.
Good stuff, man.
All right.
All right.
See y'all.
Suspect is This is a Stolen Water Media production.